If you feel frustrated in your relationship and think, if my partner would just change this thing, it would be so much better, I want to invite you to turn the spotlight on yourself, not to blame you, but to give you more power. Because what's likely keeping you stuck isn't who either of you are individually, but the relationship dance or pattern you are both participating in. And the good news is, once you become aware of them, patterns can be changed. Many people confuse patterns with personality. They say things like, I'm just conflict avoidant, or I'm a people pleaser, or I'm the responsible one. But those aren't identities, they are strategies your system has learned and devised to feel safe or reach a certain goal. Even your personality type preferences, by the way, aren't there so you can use them as an excuse. They explain how you prefer to use your brain and approach a situation or interaction, but they never imply that that's the only thing you can ever do. Let's take an example. Something that has come up a lot in my recent conversations is this issue of preemptively censoring yourself. Something bugs you, but you're not speaking up because you already know how it's going to go. Your partner's going to get defensive or annoyed or whatever, so you're doing a bit of quick mental gymnastics, decide, it's not worth the hassle, I better keep my mouth shut. At some point in your life, the strategy probably worked and you got what you wanted. It reduced tension, it kept connection, it prevented you from feeling abandoned. The problem isn't that the strategy was wrong, the problem is that now it's running automatically and blocking you from reaching the next level of intimacy you want. So to overcome this block, you have to slow things down, especially these mental gymnastics, and consider your broader context. The interaction didn't start with you considering your options, and it doesn't end with you not speaking up. Your relationship is a system, which means there are two individuals acting interdependently, and that's a feedback loop. They do something, then you feel something, then they say something, then you do something or say something, etc. So instead of asking, why can't my partner just stop doing this thing that I hate? Try expanding your perspective. What do they do or say? What do I reliably do or say next? And then what happens after that? For example, common interaction patterns look like this. They withdraw, I pursue, they shut down more. They criticize, I over-explain, they escalate. They avoid, I take over, they disengage. From this perspective, there are no villains, no victims, it's just choreography. And in couples coaching sessions, we look at that dance with a lot of love and compassion. But we're still talking about how you can make a change. So back to the gentle spotlight. When tension rises, you probably have a default move. Again, common ones are shutting down to keep the peace, over-functioning to stabilize the relationship, stay in control of yourself or the situation, avoiding conversations until the cost is too high, and then pushing harder when you feel a distance. This default move isn't random. It's usually protecting something that got hurt or threatened earlier in your life. Closeness, dignity, safety, control, hope, whatever it is that you're trying to get in that moment to help you feel better. But here's the thing, what protects you in the short term will eventually keep you kind of stuck, and it often makes the fallout worse down the line. Not telling your partner they didn't stack the dishwasher right might be cute when you first move in together, but believe me, 3 years down the line, you will be yelling about this and bring it up completely out of context. Same with not telling your partner what you actually like or dislike in bed, or if something hurts or makes you uncomfortable. These conversations are difficult and make a lot of people anxious, but they're important if you want to set your relationship on a good path forward. So how can you nip it in the bud or break a pattern that has already been established? The disruption principle. Systems don't change because someone explains themselves better. They change because someone behaves differently. Not dramatically, not perfectly, just tweak it. Do something differently enough. This disruption can be small. It can be naming what you usually don't, pausing instead of reacting, doing less instead of more, staying present instead of exiting. So when you change one step in the dance, the system has to respond. It may wobble, that's normal. Wobbling means the pattern is losing its grip. So here's what I'm inviting you to do this month, not as this huge act of self-improvement, just from a place of curiosity. Catch yourself in a familiar moment of frustration. Name your usual move internally and send some love and compassion to it. Choose an alternative that feels slightly uncomfortable but still safe, and then pay attention to what shows up now. That's it. You're not trying to fix your partner. You're gathering information about how the system responds when you stop playing your usual role. Now, we don't know if this small disruption is going to make things better or worse. We just know it will take you to a new place that you haven't been before, and that should open up space for new conversations and new choices. Before we close, I want to repeat, you are not the problem in your relationship, and neither is your partner. You are both part of a system, and that is where your power lies. If you want to talk about this experiment or anything else relationship related, you have this month YouTube live office hours in the form of a Zoom call. Last month was my first live experiment, and although it was great, I received a handful of emails from people saying they tried to participate more but couldn't write in the chat. So this was supposed to be office hours, which means interacting is kind of the point, and which is why we're going to try Zoom this time. You can register at dollarsfullgrabit.com/events, and if you can't make it to this one, all live office hours this year will be on the 17th of every month at 5 p.m. GMT. Okay, to recap, notice the pattern, try an experiment, see what shifts when you do less of what's familiar and more of what's intentional and conscious. Now, if you'd like this video, you're probably going to enjoy the next one as well, and I'll see you there.